Kash Patel didn't expect the room to freeze. Lieu didn't raise his voice, didn't throw accusations, didn't grandstand. He simply asked a yes or no question, one that any FBI director should have been able to answer instantly. And yet, in that moment, Patel hesitated. It was the kind of hesitation that makes everyone watching sit up straighter, because it signals something deeper than confusion. It signals fear. And within seconds, that silence turned a routine judiciary hearing into one of the most unsettling exchanges Congress has seen in years. The moment Lieu leaned in, the temperature in the room shifted.
Thank you, Director Patel, for being here today. The FBI searched Jeffrey Epstein's Manhattan residence, correct?
I believe that happened in 2018. I think there was 2 locations, sir.
It's 2019, and in that residence, the FBI found a safe, correct?
I don't have the catalog of evidence in front of me.
In that residence, the FBI found a safe, correct?
I'll accept your representation.
Okay. And in that safe, the FBI found topless and lewd photographs of girls, correct?
Again, sir, I'll accept your representation. I don't know.
Thank you. It was all over the media at the time. There's a New York Times article that says Jeffrey Epstein is indicted on sex charges as discovery of nude photos is disclosed, dated July 8th, 2019. And the Times reports a trove of lewd photographs of girls was discovered in a safe inside financier Jeffrey Epstein's Manhattan mansion. Author Michael Wolff has conducted numerous interviews of Jeffrey Epstein. I'm going to play for you a video clip of what Michael Wolff said Epstein told him was in the safe and what he showed the author was in this safe. So let's please play that clip now.
Elected. I was sitting talking to Epstein, and he said, "Wait a minute, I got to show you something." And then he went into his safe, and he came out with photographs. They were Polaroids, I think, and he kind of spread them out like playing cards, and it was Trump. I mean, I think there were a dozen of them, and it was Trump with girls of an uncertain age at Epstein's Palm Beach house, where all of the things that he would ultimately be accused of took place. And I remember very vividly 3 of them. There are 2 in which Trump is, the girls, topless girls, are sitting on Trump's lap. And then a 3rd in which he has a stain on the front of his pants. And the girls are kind of pointing at it, sort of bent over, laughing.
So Director Patel, I'm going to ask you a very broad and general question. As you know, Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein were friends. There are, of course, photos showing Donald Trump together with Epstein, correct?
I don't have the entirety of the photographs, but I think they've been photographed in public together.
All right. Are there any photos showing Donald Trump with girls of an uncertain age?
No.
How do you know that?
Because that information would have been brought to light by multiple administrations and FBI investigators over the course of the last 20 years.
Well, you know what? That's just not true, because no one knew about the creepy birthday message that Donald Trump wrote to Jeffrey Epstein until the Wall Street Journal disclosed it, and then all of a sudden, the Epstein estate provides it to Congress.
Well,
so certainly, you weren't there at the search. You don't know what Epstein may or may not have done with those photographs even prior to the search. Maybe someone has it. Maybe the Epstein estate has it.
You raise a great point.
So I'm going to ask you, have you asked to talk to Michael Wolff?
You raise a great point. I haven't personally asked to talk to Michael Wolff.
Has the FBI asked?
But the FBI, I'll get back to you if the FBI specifically
so Michael
asked
has
ever.
About 100 hours of testimony of Jeffrey Epstein. Wouldn't it be good for the FBI to interview Michael Wolff?
I'm not saying they haven't. I just don't know.
Has FBI subpoenaed the tapes that Michael Wolff has conducted of Jeffrey Epstein?
I don't know.
All right. So if you could provide us an answer, that would be terrific.
Sure.
Well, let me ask you this question then. Have you looked at all the photos in Epstein files?
I have looked at all the information that the investigators who investigated this case have provided to run out credible leads.
And in the Epstein files, was there that creepy birthday message that Donald Trump had written to Epstein?
No, that's what I was trying to tell you. You raise a great point. The estate of Jeffrey Epstein has a voluminous amount of information that they have not released before.
Okay, so that's great. So Wouldn't it be great if FBI subpoenaed the estate of Jeffrey Epstein for all that information?
The estate is under no obligation to provide that material, even pursuant to a subpoena. That's a
That's
great
just-
point.
Yeah, that's just false.
Okay.
That's just false. You're the frickin' FBI. You can subpoena the information from the estate, and you better do that. I'd like
That's
to move
literally
on.
not how it works.
I'm going to move on now and talk about Epstein's client list. You confirmed that it exists. Attorney General Pam Bondi confirmed earlier this year that it exists. So I just want to ask you a simple question. Is Prince Andrew on Epstein's client list?
The material related to Prince Andrew has been made public.
Is Prince Andrew on the client list?
We have released the index of names
All right,
that were
is-
in
is-
Jeffrey
Is
Epstein's.
Donald Trump on Epstein's client list?
The index has been released, and the index will speak for
So I'm
itself.
just going to say, America is a huge red flag. The FBI director could not answer
Gentlemen.
whether Donald Trump was on Epstein's
Gentleman's time
client
has
list.
expired.
I
Chair
yield
now
back.
recognizes the gentleman from Virginia.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank the director for being here and for his
His question was simple. What does the FBI actually know about the materials found in Jeffrey Epstein's safe? But Patel's answer, or lack of one, sparked a chain reaction of contradictions, evasions, and red flags that no one expected. What began as a straightforward inquiry suddenly exposed a disturbing truth. When the subject gets close, the facts get blurry, and the country's top law enforcement official seemed unable or unwilling to provide clarity. That's the story you're about to hear. And once you understand how this hearing unfolded, you'll see why this single exchange sent shockwaves through Congress and beyond. Because the deeper Ted Lieu dug, the more the ground beneath Kash Patel began to crack. And every crack revealed something the public deserves to hear. The FBI's involvement in the Epstein case was supposed to be airtight. Years of investigations, thousands of documents, multiple administrations, endless public assurances that every credible lead had already been chased down. But the moment Lieu started asking about the safe found inside Epstein's Manhattan residence, those assurances suddenly didn't hold up. Lieu started with verifiable facts. The FBI searched Epstein's residence. Everyone knows that. A safe was discovered. Everyone knows that too. Inside the safe were disturbing photographs, something major news outlets reported immediately after the search. These were not rumors or fringe online speculations. They were confirmed by mainstream reporting. Yet instead of affirming those details, Patel repeatedly said he didn't know. He fell back on the same strange phrase over and over. I'll accept your representation. For an FBI director, that answer sounded absurd. Why accept something that's publicly documented? Why avoid confirming what the Bureau itself collected? The tension grew stronger when Lieu brought up a piece of information that wasn't speculation at all. Author Michael Wolff, someone who had interviewed Epstein repeatedly, has publicly claimed that Epstein himself showed him a stack of Polaroids from that safe. Wolff says Epstein laid them out like playing cards, images of girls, of uncertain age, photographed with a well-known figure. Wolff described them in detail, even recalling 3 specific images. It was graphic. It was disturbing. And it was the kind of information any thorough investigation would look into. But Lieu didn't ask Patel whether the photos were real. He didn't demand confirmation. He asked something far more basic. Did the FBI ever interview Michael Wolff? Did they subpoena his tapes? Did they even try? Patel's answer: I don't know. That was the moment people started side-eyeing each other across the hearing room. This wasn't obscure trivia. If an author publicly claims to have seen physical evidence connected to one of the most notorious criminal figures in recent history, any investigative agency would want to know more. And yet, the director of the FBI could not confirm whether they ever followed up. Then Lieu landed the first major blow. He reminded Patel of something the public only learned recently: the handwritten birthday message Epstein received from Trump, which surfaced not through FBI disclosure, but through the Wall Street Journal and later the Epstein estate. It wasn't discovered in a raid, wasn't cataloged in an investigation, and wasn't mentioned by the FBI in any of the materials it released over the years. It appeared out of nowhere, a reminder that there were still documents and photos that the public, and apparently the FBI, had never seen. This single detail demolished Patel's earlier claim that if anything existed, it would have been found by now. Because the birthday message did exist, and it took outside reporting, not the FBI, to reveal it, Lieu made his point without having to say it directly. If something as basic as a note slipped through the cracks, what else wasn't found? What else wasn't reviewed? What else has never been subpoenaed? The cracks were widening fast. And just when Patel thought the questioning couldn't get more uncomfortable, Lieu went straight at the heart of law enforcement authority. He asked whether the FBI had subpoenaed the Epstein estate for all of its remaining materials. Patel responded with something that stunned everyone. He suggested the estate had no obligation to comply with a subpoena. Within seconds, Lieu shut that down. "You're the FBI," he said flatly. "You can subpoena the information, and you better do that." The room went still. Because here was the director of the FBI appearing unsure about the fundamental powers of his own agency. Not only was that incorrect, it raised a disturbing question. If the director doesn't understand what he can demand, how can the public trust that he demanded everything he should have? At this point, Patel had lost command of the room. But the most intense moment was still coming. Lieu shifted to one of the most talked about elements of the Epstein case, the client list. Patel himself had previously confirmed its existence. So had Attorney General Pam Bondi. Multiple officials acknowledged that names existed, documents existed, and some portions were already public. But when the questions turned specific, Patel shut down completely. Is Prince Andrew on the list? Vague answer. Is he mentioned in the materials? Look at the indexes. And then Lieu asked the question that changed the entire tone of the hearing. Is Donald Trump on Epstein's client list? Patel did not say no. He did not say yes. He did not say the FBI found nothing. He referred Lieu to index pages. The way someone dodges when they don't want their own voice on the record. The silence after that question was heavy. Not because it confirmed guilt, but because it confirmed something else. The FBI director would not answer. This wasn't about speculation. It wasn't about political theater. It was a test of transparency. And the man responsible for the Bureau's integrity could not bring himself to respond clearly. Lieu didn't need to push further. The damage was done. The hesitation itself became the story. And that's when the hearing transformed from uncomfortable to alarming. Because the deeper Lieu pushed into how the FBI handled Epstein's materials, the more obvious it became that the investigation had gaps. Not because agents weren't working, but because someone at the top appeared unwilling to confront certain questions head-on. Authority without confidence. Power without clarity. Answers replaced by evasions. And in a case involving global elites, countless victims, years of public mistrust, and the possibility of suppressed evidence, the last thing Americans want to see is a director who can't answer a simple question. But what made this hearing so powerful wasn't the political angle. It wasn't about targeting one individual. It wasn't about assigning guilt. It was about something bigger, trust. When law enforcement refuses to speak directly, people begin to wonder what else they aren't saying. When clear questions are met with foggy answers, confidence erodes. And when the highest-ranking official in the FBI cannot confirm basic investigative actions, like whether a key witness was interviewed or whether subpoena power was used, faith in the institution collapses. Lieu's questioning exposed something far more troubling than any name in Epstein's files. It revealed an FBI that seems hesitant to confront certain truths, especially when they involve powerful figures. It revealed an agency still struggling with transparency years after one of the darkest scandals in modern history. And it revealed a leader who seemed unsure, unprepared, or unwilling to be definitive. That's why this moment matters. Because accountability doesn't depend on who's being asked about. Justice doesn't shrink or expand depending on whose reputation might be affected. And the public deserves answers, not deflections. When the stakes involve victims whose stories were ignored for far too long. In the end, this hearing wasn't about proving anything. It wasn't about making accusations. It wasn't about political victories. It was about whether the FBI is capable of investigating the powerful with the same intensity it uses on ordinary Americans. Whether the person leading the Bureau can stand behind his own agency's work. Whether the truth is truly pursued, even when that truth is inconvenient. And on that day, in that committee room, the answer wasn't yes. It wasn't no. It was silence. A silence loud enough for the entire country to hear. If you believe accountability should apply equally to everyone, no matter how wealthy, famous, or influential they are, make sure more people understand what happened in this hearing. Share this video, hit the like button, and subscribe for more deep dive breakdowns the media refuses to touch. Your support helps expose what those in power hope stays hidden.